Hi everyone, in this lesson we are going to be having a look at how to play Carolina in My Mind by James Taylor. This is it's a beautiful song. It first appeared on his debut album in 1968, although the version most people are familiar with is the version that he re-recorded for his 1976 Greatest Hits album. That's the version that we're going to have a look at in this lesson. It's a beautiful, really beautiful song. It's been called the unofficial anthem of North Carolina. So, as always, then we'll go in for a close-up and have a look how it's done. Okay, so first thing to note is we've got a capo on the 2nd fret. That's because the version that I'm going to be showing you is taken from the studio recording of this song. When he plays it live, he sometimes plays on the 3rd fret, but for this lesson, I'll be playing with the capo on the 2nd. Okay, so the introduction then goes like this. Okay, so we're going to start with a D chord. Now, I should point out that when James Taylor plays this, he does his D chord sort of backwards. He does them like that, so that he's got his first finger on the top E string. I can't do that. My brain would just need retraining for that. So I'm going to be doing D the regular way. He also plays his A's sort of back to front as well. He plays the A chord sort of like that again, so that he's got his first finger on the B string this time. And I think he's doing that just because of they're the strings that he tends to be hammering on and pulling off of. So I think he just likes his first finger with it being a stronger finger, but it would take me too much to retrain my brain to do that. So I should be sticking with the standard A and the D chord. Also, the G chord, when we play it, we're going to play as this sort of this D with the G with the added D there on the 3rd finger. So you'll be playing 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, little finger on the top string, and then the 1st finger, 2nd fret of the A string, and the 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string, as you would perhaps expect. Okay, so D chord to start off with then. We're going to play a pickup note by playing the G string. We're then going to play the open top E and the open D string together, and then hammer the 2nd finger onto the 2nd fret of the top E. We've then got the G string and the B string. You can then hear that he plays the next 2 notes open, probably because he's changing chord at the time. So as he's moving, he's got the next 2 as open strings, which are the D string and the G string. We're then going to go to our G chord, remembering to put our 3rd finger down on the 3rd fret of the B string. We're going to play the 2 E strings together. We then play the B string. We're then going to play the 2nd fret of the low E string together with the open G string, and then the B string again. So far, altogether, we have and the timing for that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, we're then going to go on to an E minor 7 chord. We don't really need the first 2 fingers down. We can get away with just playing with the top 2 fingers down, but we do need those down on the 3rd fret of the top E and the B string respectively. Okay, we then have the open low E together with the 3rd fret of the top E. We then play the G string, then the B. We then have the E again and the G. Okay, we're now going to change, and technically we're changing here to an A7 chord, or an A7 sus4. Again, we don't really need to put the first finger down. We can just stick with these 2 fingers that we already have down, but we do need to move our thumb now down onto the A string for the bass note. So we're going to play the A string along with the top E, the G, B, and then the G, and the B again. Okay, and the timing for that bar is 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a. Okay, so I'll just play through the whole of the intro. Okay, now we come to the chorus. The song opens with the chorus. So we're going to be starting on a D chord, and the first bar goes like this. Okay, so we're going to be doing a combination there of picking and strumming. When strumming, he tends to play a bass note using his thumb, and then strums using the back of the nail on the index finger, and it's very light. It's sort of like this, with the gentle sort of a down, and then when doing an up, sort of just catching it with the fleshy part of the finger. But it's very soft. It's more about really what the bass notes are doing than what the strums are. They're just there to sort of fill the gap. Okay, so starting with our D chord, then we're going to play the D string, then the G, then we're going to have the B and the top E together. We're then going to do a strum down and then up. We're then going to go to a G chord, play the bass note with the thumb, and then do a down up strum. You notice here when I'm doing the strums as well, I'm sort of only just catching the top 3 or 4 strings. I'm not doing a full strum. Sort of catching the top 3 or 4 strings. So that's our G chord, bass, then down up. We're then going to place the first finger again onto the 2nd fret of the low E string, keeping the other fingers down, bass, down, up again. Okay, so that bar. Okay, and the timing there is 1 and 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. Next bar sounds like this. Okay, so we've got an A chord here. I'm using the 3-fingered version of the A because I find it makes it easier with the hammer-offs and the pull-ons that we're going to be doing. Okay, so for this we have first of all the open A string. We're then going to play the G string. Then we're going to go down, down, up as a strum. Okay, we're then going to have the open A string again, then the G string, the open top string, G string. I'm going to take the 3rd finger off, play the B string, and then hammer the finger back onto the 2nd fret. Okay, we're then going to do 2 strums down and up. Okay, so the whole of that bar. Okay, and the timing there is 1 and 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, next bar then we go to a G chord. We're going to play the low E string, then the G. We're then going to play the top E string along with the B string. And again, we've got the 3rd finger down on the B string. In fact, all the G's in this song are done that way, so I won't bother mentioning that again, but that's how you'll be doing all of them. Right, I'll start from the beginning of that bar again then. So we had the low E, the open G, the B and the top E together, and then the G string again. I'm then going to go to an A chord. I'm going to play the open A string, then the G string, strum down, then take the the third finger off, strum again, and hammer it on, followed by another down, and then an upstroke. So for that A section we have. Okay, so the whole bar. And the timing is 1 and 2 and 1 E and 2 E and Okay, we now go to an E minor 7 chord. Don't really need the full chord though. In fact, all we need really is the third finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. We're going to play the open low E, the open G, then the B, the G and the B again, we then have it would be an A7 sus4 chord again, but again we just really need this third finger down, so we'll play the open A string, open G string, the 3rd fret of the B, and then you've got the open G again. We're then going to move our second finger now down onto the 2nd fret of the B string, play the open A, the G, and finally the B. Okay, so that gives us okay, and the timing for that one then is 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and Okay, the next bar then starts on a D chord. It's going to sound like this. So we have our D chord, so we're just playing the open D string, then a down up strum. Now going to keep the D chord down, we're going to add the little finger onto the 4th fret of the A string, play that as our bass note now, then again down and up. Little finger comes off and the first finger moves up to the 2nd fret of the A string, hit that as your bass note, then down up again, then return to a D chord, and we're going to play the A string as the bass note, and then down up again. So that'll give you and the timing there, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Okay, the next bar starts on a G chord. We've got a similar kind of thing going on in this bar, exactly the same kind of rhythm. So starting with our G, we're going to have bass, down, up. Place the first finger on the 2nd fret of the low E. And again we have bass, down, up. We're then going to go to an E chord. Play the low E for the bass note, then down, up. A chord and the A string for the bass note. Then down, up again. And the timing, as you'd expect by now, is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Okay, we're going to carry on this strumming pattern now into the next bar. So we're back to a D chord. So we have bass, down, up. Move the first finger up to the 2nd fret of the A string. Play that as your bass note. Bass, down, up. We're then going to keep that 3rd finger where it is on the 3rd fret of the B string. We're then going to place the first finger and the 2nd finger down on the 2nd fret of the A and of the D string. This has given us an E minor 7. We're going to play the open low E string as our bass note. Strum down, up. We're then going to put our first finger now on the 2nd fret of the D string. Our 2nd finger comes away. We have the open A string, and then a down up. That's an A7 sus4 chord. Okay, so all of that bar. And the timing, again, as you would expect now, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Okay, the next bar then is this. Okay, so this is done around a D chord. Okay, so we're going to have, first of all, the open D string, then the G string, then open up the top E string. We're going to play the 3rd fret of the B, along with the open top E, hammer down the 2nd finger to the 2nd fret, and then pull it off again. So that will give you... Okay, we then have the G string, the B string, again open up the top E string and play it hammer down. We're then going to strum the D chord. We then hammer the open A string onto the 2nd fret. And again, we've kept our 3rd finger down there, you may notice, and we're going to just strum down up again. Okay, so that gives you... Okay, so it's important that you keep that 3rd finger down when you go to do that hammer on, because that's part of the an important part of the chord. It's best if you keep the... I mean, when I land on this bar, I tend to end up playing a full D chord to begin with, even though I don't need that 2nd finger to be down. I tend to just lift it before I need to do the actual hammer on. Okay, so the timing for this bar then is 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and Okay, that is the whole of the chorus then. So what I'll do is I'll go back to the beginning of that and put it all together. Okay, so the next part then is the verse. So we're going to start with a D chord. We're going to play bass note on the D string. We're then going to just strum down, down, up, down, up. So bass, down, down, up, down, up. Okay, it doesn't have to be that, but it works. So it's probably, I think, is what he's playing, but whatever rhythm you feel suits the song best. But that's what I'll be doing: bass, down, down, up, down, up. Okay, so that's done on a D chord. We're then going to go to a C add 9. So keeping the 3rd finger down, you can add the little finger there to the 3rd fret of the top E string. Then have the 2nd finger on the, sorry, the 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and the 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. Okay, we're going to play the A string as our bass note, and again use the same rhythm: bass, down, down, up, down, up. Okay, so that bar. Okay, so the timing is 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and Then going to go to a G chord. We can do that simply by moving the 1st and 2nd finger up by 1 string. Okay, we play the low E string, same rhythm: bass, down, down, up, down, up. Going to play an A chord now, so bass down. We then move to this, which is an A sharp diminished 7th. Okay, so this is the 1st fret of the A string, 2nd fret of the D string, the open G string, the 2nd fret of the B string, and the open top E. And it sounds like this. It's a lovely sounding chord. And he's using it as a passing chord to get from the A to the B minor, which will be the next chord. So for this, just do a bass down on the A, and then a bass down on that A sharp diminished 7th. And that gives you another bar, so this will be... and the timing is 1 and 2 E and a 3 and 4 ands. Okay then, so now we have this B minor chord, so I'm doing the full bar chord version of it at the 2nd fret, so it's an A minor shape, moved down and barred at the 2nd fret. And we have the same rhythm as we've been having throughout the verse, bass, down, down, up, down, up. We then go to the G, and again bass, down, down, up, down, up. So 1 and 2 E and a 3 and 4 E and a. Okay, and we then have what is probably the hardest bar in the song. It goes like this. Okay, so this is an A chord. You want to start with just the 1st and 2nd fingers on the 2nd frets of the D string and the G string. Okay, we're going to play the open A, the G string, then the D, the open top E. We're then going to play the top E and the B together, both open. Then play the G string. We're then going to play the 3rd fret of the B string along with the open top E. Now I recommend you play that 3rd fret on the B string there with your little finger. Then bring your 3rd finger back onto the chord at the 2nd fret of the B string. Play that along with the open top E, and then pull that 3rd finger back off. Okay, so far we have. Then going to play the G string, the open top E and B together, and then hammer the 3rd finger, I got it right this time, the 3rd finger back onto the 2nd fret of the B string. And then you do a slight strum at the end there. Okay, so let me try and put all of that together for you. Okay, one more time. Okay, and the timing for this bar is 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, the next bar then returns to our strumming pattern, so we have a G chord first of all. Same as before, bass down, down, up, down, up. Then we're going to do a D with the thumb coming over this time. So this is a D with an F sharp in the bass. So we're going to bring the thumb over to the 2nd fret of the low E string. Play the low E as your bass note, and then the same pattern, bass, down, down, up, down, up. Okay, so that's 1 and 2 E and a 3 and 4 E and a. Okay, we then get this. Okay, so starting with an E7 sus4 chord. So for this we need 2nd fret of the A string, 2nd fret of the G string, and the 3rd fret of the B string. I'm using my little finger there to do the 3rd fret on the B because I think it makes the next change a bit easier. Okay, so you're going to play the A string and the B string together. We then play the G string. We then have the B string along with the open E. And then we have the 1st fret of the G. Okay, so far that's. Then I'm going to play the open A along with the 3rd fret of the B, followed by the open G, and then we're going to play the 2nd fret of the B along with the A string, and then the open G again. Okay, so that gives you and the timing on that bar is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, we then have a D chord, and we're going to play bass, down, up, move the first finger up to the second fret of the A string, that's now a bass note, play that, bass, and then down, up again. Then we go to our E minor 7 chord. This time I'm playing it with the top string open because of where I've just moved from, but that doesn't really matter. So bass, down, up, and then the A7 sus4 again. Okay, so that bar gives you 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. Okay, we then go back to doing this. It's something we've already looked at. Okay, so that was from earlier on, so I won't repeat it, I'll just do it again slowly. Okay, and that completes the first verse. So the second verse comes next. It goes straight from the first verse into the second verse. And the second verse is basically the same, just some of the more flamboyant bits are sort of left out or done quieter. So the best thing to do there, I think, is just to have a listen to the original, decide what you want to do. You might want, especially if you're playing on your own, you might want to just play it in exactly the same way. That's what I would certainly do. Once we've gone through the second verse then, the chorus repeats in exactly the same way again. We then have a third verse. Now the third verse ends slightly differently. So instead of this bar on the end that we've just played, it goes like this. Okay, so this alternate bar then goes D string, so it's a D chord, a D string. Then we have the G, the B, the open top E and hammer on the second fret. We're then going to play the G, the B. Little finger now comes to play the third fret of the top E. We then play the second fret of the top E and pull that off to open. We then have the third fret of the B string, the open top E, and then hammer on the second finger. And then the thumb's going to come over and play the second fret of the low E. Okay, so I'll give you that again slowly. And the timing for that is 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, and that's going to take us then into the bridge. So what I'll do is I will just play you through all of the chorus, and I'll use the alternate ending. Sorry, not all of the chorus, all of the verse. And then I will use that alternate ending to finish it off. So, okay, so